Hi, I'm Nick Armstrong, and this is Dear Fort Collins. It's a podcast to discuss issues in and around Fort Collins, featuring experts from the city and the county and elected officials. Our goal is to help make you a more informed neighbor of Fort Collins. In particular, this series of the podcast, we are interviewing city council candidates and Poudre School District board candidates as well. Now, I ran for city council in 2021, and I know how hard it was to connect with every single neighbor and spread the word about what my campaign stood for and why I was wanting to run. I wanted to give each of our candidates the opportunity to connect with you in a medium where you might be comfy on the couch or you might be driving in your car, but able to listen on your own time and get to know a little bit more about these candidates and why they're running and what they stand for so that you can make a more informed choice as a voter. Now, I do serve on the Parks and Rec Board for the City of Fort Collins, as well as the Box Elder Sanitation Board and my neighborhood HOA board. I'm not here in any of those capacities. I'm here as a private citizen, and my hope is that using this podcast, you can become a more informed voter and make a more informed choice when you go to the ballot. With that, let's bring in our candidate. And today we're here with Caleb. Caleb, introduce yourself.
Hi, Nick. My name is Caleb Larson. I'm running for Poudre School District's Board of Education in District G. A little bit about myself. I am actually a product of PSD. I went through Poudre School District. I started in elementary school, moving all the way to graduating at Rocky Mountain High School. I played a short stint of college soccer at Regis University before I decided to come back to CSU to pursue an accounting degree. I met my lovely wife, Danny, and now we still live here in Fort Collins with a family accounting practice with my folks. And I just am so appreciative of what PSD gave me as an education, and I just can't see any better place to live than Fort Collins.
So Caleb, why are you passionate about the Poudre School District, and what motivated you to run for office?
Yeah, so as I just said, I'm a product of the district, and I feel like I got an exceptional education while in PSD. And I want to ensure that students now in school and that will be in school in coming generations receive that same exceptional education. I work now in the accounting industry, and so I see that workforce development and life readiness for so many students could be improved. And I believe that that's how we create a really exceptional community, is giving kids the ability to be ready for the world, be engaged and optimistic for what the future holds. And that my passion is because I got such a good education. I want to make sure that continues.
So you hinted at it a little bit already. Can you share a specific project or issue that you'd like to tackle first if you're elected?
Yeah, I think that, it's a great question, but I've been asked this a lot. And education is such a multifaceted area that we deal with. You could look at budget, you could look at transportation, you could look at curriculum, you could look at teachers, whether it's staffing or wages. But ultimately, I feel like, especially as a newly elected director, I think that transparency needs to come back to the forefront, because for a community like we've seen with the consolidation efforts, there felt like for so many parents, there was no transparency over the decision. And I think that in order to be effective in any other decisions, whether it be the budget, transportation issues, you have to be transparent in how you're getting to those answers. And I think any governing body is most effective when you do that. And so that would be the first issue I would want to address, because I think if you lay a good foundation, then people feel like what you're doing thereforth after is in the best interest with all stakeholders having an input.
Caleb, what makes you uniquely qualified to represent the school district?
I like this question. Sometimes people are afraid to say what makes them the better candidate, I think, because they don't want to come across as arrogant or rude. But I don't lead with this, but I think it's something that I offer that no other candidates have offered or have been elected as a younger perspective. I'm far enough removed from what it was like to be in PSD, but I also see through a lens that people of, your juniors or seniors see the world. And because of that, I think that perspective is so valuable, because we have kids that maybe see the world how I see it, which is it's very expensive. They don't know what they want to do with their life. They don't know where they're going to live. Can they afford a family if they want one? And it's important that we have a new perspective on a board that is making decisions for students. And I would like more young people to get involved with local government. And so I think that bringing a younger perspective to a board that deals with students is really valuable and can be an asset to the community as a whole.
Who do you look up to as a role model in the realm of public service, and what have you learned from them?
I've been fortunate to meet a lot of public officials here in Larimer County and the city of Fort Collins. I'm a study of history. I love history. You can read about so many great leaders, but I tried to think really who's been impactful, and actually it was my grandpa who I came down to, because he was a Vietnam vet. He served in the Vietnam War, and what he's taught me and what I've been able to see through the legacy he's still leaving is what it means to selflessly serve your community and your country, putting yourself out there so that you can better the lives of others around you. This seat is unpaid for 4 years, and it truly is public service. You are taking time and sacrificing things that you could be doing else to further the education of others, to further your community, to having great leaders and entrepreneurs within it. And so much of my life experience, I attribute to my grandpa, and I don't think I would be so much of the person I am if I hadn't had that role model in my life.
Caleb, if you could have any superpower to help your community, what would it be and why?
I'm not great on the superpower, so I wasn't a comic book kid, but what I would, if you could put this into a superpower, I think it's just building community. Like I said earlier, I think transparency and community engagement is such an important thing. Without it, I think that society doesn't function as well as it could. And I would like to be able to say that I could do that perfectly, getting all the input, being as engaged as possible, giving all the solutions that are collectively brought together. That would be a superpower, I think, that could unite any city, any county, any state.
What's one piece of advice that you've received but you didn't take and you wish that you had?
This was a hard one for me, I'll be honest. What I came up with is, when I was getting ready to go play college soccer, I'd had a coach that he had coached me since I was a young kid till all the way through to high school. And when I had picked Regis, he had given me the advice, as he said, I think it's great, I'm really proud of you, but I don't know if this is the best fit. And so I thought on it, and I realized, I think I'm still going to go play. Well, one semester later, after I realized I'm not super happy here, I came back to Fort Collins. And while ignoring the advice or not taking it, still panned out well for me. And I'm super fortunate to have life go the way it has. I do wonder if I would have taken that advice and maybe went somewhere else, maybe I would have been happier and maybe my career path would have been different. But I'm so fortunate because I've been able to come back here, set my roots, and be able to have the opportunity to run for a school board seat like I am, and be able to contribute to the civic engagement and the opportunity to serve my community.
Caleb, where can we learn more about your campaign? Is there anything else that you want to tell someone listening to this podcast?
Yeah, so you can go to larsonforpsd.com is my website. I have more expounded points of my campaign, why I'm running, mainly behind student opportunity, student success. At the bottom of that website, you'll find a submission form if you have questions that I didn't address on my website, or just anything that you need from me. My phone number and that submission form are there. But I'll leave it on this, is that I'm a local kid, and I'm a product of the district, and I say that with pride because I think that it set me up for a really great life, and I had so many opportunities, and I really truly believe that is what gives our community a special what makes it special, because you see so many kids stay here, and I want to continue that trend. And as being in the small business community, I really hope that we can continue that trend, and I'm really excited to be running. And again, larsonforpsd.com.
Thanks for listening, and I hope you're enjoying this series of learning more about your candidates. It's so important just to get out there and vote, but to do so from a place of knowing who you're voting for and why you're voting for them, it's a really comforting thing. I'm Nick Armstrong, and I can't wait to see you next time.